Hello everyone and welcome. In this video we're going to be talking about sex. Not the normal kind we all enjoy, but rather the insidious rise in female teachers sexually assaulting male students. Now, in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, and even in the 2010s, this was a rare occurrence. It would pop up on your feed or on the newspaper or in some news segment, I think every 6 months to a year, and it would be a big thing. But now it seems like it happens every month, like some sort of Netflix subscription. So the first example is Madison Bergmann, a 24-year-old former 5th grade teacher from St. Paul, Wisconsin. She was initially arrested on May 1st and charged with first-degree child sexual assault involving a student under 13. Dude, this lady's sick. As of August 15, she faces 9 additional charges. This, of course, occurred in the year 2024 to 2025. The investigation began after the boy's mother overheard a phone call between Bergmann and her son, and later discovered the inappropriate text messages. The boy later told police that they had kissed and touched one another in the classroom while others weren't watching. Bergmann resigned from Rivercrest Elementary School on May 13th, and she was released on a $25,000 cash bond and is prohibited from contacting minors or using any communication methods to reach the victim. She also surrendered her passport. Her attorney has not made a public comment. That's insane. Under 13, what is wrong with this woman? That is absolutely insane. This lady's disgusting, bro. Talking about Diddy elementary school style edition. That's insane, dude. Now, before I continue, I have 2 more examples. I actually have a few more, but I only want to go over 3 just for brevity's sake. You know, a lot of these teachers are very young. They're in their early 20s, early 30s. They just got out of college with their teaching degree and certification and are teaching. So this happens this is one of course, the main topic of this video is that this is very recent and it's only accelerating. And you'll see more as we continue. The second example is Olivia Ortz. That's a weird last name, O-R-T-Z, Ortz. Again, 26 years old, a very young lady, a former choir director at Wilmington Area High School in Pennsylvania. She's been charged with institutional sexual assault, unlawful contact with a minor, yada, yada, yada. The investigation began in April after Ortiz's husband, who also works with the school's theater program, discovered evidence of the alleged relationship between Ortz and a student. Police say the student visited Ortz home multiple times and continued communicating with her via apps even after the investigation began. Whether or not she was aware of the investigation while this was happening, we don't know, but that would be insane work if she knew she was being investigated and still messaged the student. It's like that episode in South Park with that teacher, that blonde lady, she's delusionally in love with an infant or something. That's insane. Ortz was suspended and later resigned. She's on a $150,000 bond. Over 100 messages were exchanged between the two, and this isn't subject to just women only. In fact, in that same school, a teacher in 2020, Jonathan Puriano, a band teacher, was charged with over 20 counts of inappropriate relationships with female students, man. We're going to wrap this up with our third and final example. It's Christina Formella, a 30-year-old former special education teacher and soccer coach in Downers Grove, Illinois. Downers Grove, that's an unfortunate name. She was arrested in March 2025 and charged with sexually abusing a 15-year-old student. Now, this abuse allegedly began in 2023, so this student was about 13, 14 years old. Again, just absolutely sick, bro. These people are insane. Police found explicit texts and personal notes on her phone referencing the student. She denied the allegations, claiming that the student had manipulated her phone. Yeah, the classic, a horny 15-year-old kid stole my phone and incriminated me case. Yeah, I think that'll hold up. In June 2025, prosecutors added 52 more charges. And this lady was going to work, man. This lady is nasty. She surrendered her teaching license and faces up to 60 years in prison if convicted. What was she doing? What was she doing? Like I said, I have 2 more examples. There are many more examples out there. I'll put them on the screen, but I'll even include the link in the description. There's also a brief news segment that does talk about this in a way that I think this topic should be talked about. One of the reasons I'm making this video is because no one's talking about this. I digress. Now, I noticed this alarming rise, and I began to ask myself, what's wrong with these women? I mean, why are they doing this more and more often, especially? So, we understand there are bad people out there. A woman might do this every now and again, but why is this happening more and more often, at an accelerated rate? Now, I'm no hard-hitting journalist or veteran investigator, so we'll find out using our best guesses and good judgment. First and foremost, addressing the elephant in the room, women get treated far better in the judicial system compared to men overall. I mean, for a similar crime, a man may get 15, 20 years. A woman may only get a few years or some probation, maybe nothing at all in some instances that I've observed. It's women they naturally think they can get away with these things. If they cry, they can get away with it. Meanwhile, if a man cries, he gets handed a tissue in 10 years. Thankfully, this is starting to change since the alarming rise in these incidences has caused the legal system to ante up the sentencing for these crimes to dissuade women from trying to do the same. This is likely to be the best remedy for this, since women will now have to reconsider if this crime is even worth it. That takes care of the end result, but what about preventing it from happening in the first place? What about preventing it entirely? I mean, what exactly in the past decade has persuaded these women into thinking this is even a viable action to begin with? Now, I need to reiterate, I am no seasoned investigator, I'm no anthropologist, so I'll use my limited YouTuber brain to assess and assume what stems mainly from the increase in normalization of degeneracy in our society. For example, sexual romance novels depicting risque encounters and sexual encounters have exploded in the past decade alone. I'll give you some examples on screen. General media, from TV shows to movies, has increased its sexual content, gore, you name it. On top of that, if it's not stunning enough, the normalization of pornography via OnlyFans has done nothing but plague society as a whole. All the women who are brainwashed and baited into thinking that they'll make $45 million a month like their favorite influencer on that site, only to find out that 90+% of women who engage in that site make less than $100 per month for a very long time, mind you. Most likely they never succeed and end up quitting after a few years. It's crazy to think they take up this line of work thinking they'll be rich overnight. In reality, they're making the same amount of money as a Taco Bell overnight shift worker. I digress, but I also want to say the paywalls that are provided by that site are not secure whatsoever, since all you have to do is copy and paste the OF model's link or username, simply Google it, and you'll find all of the content for free. So I'm told. So these women really need to reconsider showing their body online only for millions of people to see it for free and have it stay online forever. Going back to the topic of female teachers assaulting students, all this normalization of degeneracy and pornography combined with a history of lenient sentencing for women in these crimes has emboldened these female teachers to act out their wildest fantasies. I, for one, cannot stand it. I hate that no one seems to talk about this, and if they do, it's not at scale, since these crimes seem to only get a gasp in the break room followed by a shrug and just business as usual afterwards, but not for me. I see this as an inkling of further degeneracy that needs to be stopped in order for us to have a chance at a moral and just society. I see now that women are getting charged harsher for these crimes, and that's a good thing. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this. How are your female teachers in high school growing up? How do you feel about this situation now? I mean, do you agree or not? Don't forget to like the video if you did, subscribe for more content. I also want to address, I'm making different style videos just for fun. You know, like I don't want to just talk about movies forever. I noticed this is like a modern day topic. Just wanted to cover it just for fun, see how it turns out. Thank you guys. I appreciate you so much. I'll see you in the next one.